Today he leads the Bucks against the Bulls.
The NBA on CBS. Today's show is sponsored by the Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. All the new 1978 Chevrolets, now at your Chevy dealers everywhere. And by Alcoa, the producer of energy-saving aluminum.
This is the Milwaukee Arena, the home of the Milwaukee Bucks, where today the Bucks play host to the Chicago Bulls, and this is the third meeting of the year between these two clubs, and they split on the previous two occasions. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Bender, and alongside me, former NBA All-Star and 8-year veteran of the Milwaukee Bucks, John McLaughlin. John, I'll tell you, the Bulls and Bucks, what an intense tradition they have.
Gary, it goes back some time, of course, back to the Jabbar era when he was here, and Dennis Autry playing with Chicago, and of course it continues today.
If you look at the Chicago Bulls, the key is Artis Gilmore. Now, how are the Bucks going to go against the 7'2" center?
Well, they've done a remarkable job on him, as great as he is, but today I think they might play him a little differently. They might go at him after he makes his move, try to double him up, rather than in the past they went at him a little earlier.
Now, the Chicago Bulls come in here. They have a 5-game winning streak. The Bucks, on the other hand, had an impressive win last time out against Denver.
Yes, they did. They lost to Boston convincingly, that is, and they had a big game against Denver. The Bulls beat them very handedly in Chicago recently, so this is a big game for Milwaukee, and for that fact, so is Chicago. They're in the same division.
All right, we're ready to go now with today's game. The tip-off approaching. Let's check now the starting lineups. For Milwaukee, they'll have Dave Myers and Marcus Johnson at the forwards. Ginelli, along with Quinn Buckner and Brian Winters, will be in the backcourt. Mickey Johnson, Scott May, Artis Gilmore, Vern Holland, and Norm Van Leer. The two officials for today's game will be Jake O'Donnell, he has the basketball, and Hugh Evans. What a tradition they've had. 1-1 thus far. This is the second time the Bulls have come in here to the Milwaukee Arena. Gilmore to go up, and he controls the tip-off to Mickey Johnson. In the red, the Chicago Bulls, as Quinn Buckner picks up Holland. Wilbur Holland, what a surprise he was a year ago, brings it off to Scott May. Dave Myers tries to intercept. Gilmore inside, and traveling is called on the big guy.
Gary, some interesting things to note here. In the last game these two teams met, the Bulls guards really convincingly handled the Bucks guards, and they were the keys in the win for Chicago.
Dave Myers, who's come back so well from that knee problem of a year ago, intercepted now by Holland, and here comes Van Leer. Van Leer, one of the assist leaders again this year in the NBA. Out to Holland, has to change his shot. What a move by Holland.
That's a nice move. That's just a given rule in basketball, of course. Holland moves very well without the ball. He gives it up. He also shoots it pretty well.
2-0 now. The Chicago Bulls with the lead. Here's Quinn Buckner. Buckner, the quarterback of this team. Out to Ginelli, who started the last 17 games for the Bucks. He'll try one. He's a pretty good shooter from outside.
Sure is, Gary. He does a fine job, and Gilmore will have to come out and play him. Gianelli can shoot out there with the guards on certain days.
2-2 our scores. Van Leer picked up now by Winters, who's a vastly improved defensive performer. That ball's out of bounds. It's going to be Milwaukee's.
Well, there you see fine defensive pressure by Marcus Johnson. He feels that's the one area he must improve and work on, his defense, but he's done a fine job.
You speak of defense. Winters, who just gave up the ball to Buckner, that's where he's improved so much. Here's Buckner now with Holland on him. Out it comes Ginelli inside Dave Myers. What a workhorse this guy is. He won't give you anything, and he does not get it. Gilmore high with a rebound. Breakaway to Johnson.
There you see the Bulls releasing a man on the break, and the Bucks have to be aware of that. They did that in the last game, and it worked for them. Today, the Bucks must have at least a guard, perhaps sometimes a forward back.
Inside. Look at that move by Marcus Johnson.
That's a typical move, but that was also a beautiful pass. Marcus moves well without the ball. Here it is, Marcus getting the backdoor play. Of course, the defensive man turned his head. Marcus went to the basket, got a nice pass.
Tie game, 4-4. Artis Gilmore backing in on Ginelli. That left-handed hook. Boy, is he tough when he gets inside with that ball.
Well, he's so big, Gary. How can one guy stop him? It takes two many times.
The Bulls with a 6-4 lead. Here's Buckner picked up by Holland. Ginelli up to Myers. Myers with Johnson on him. Johnson at 6'10", right up in his face. And it comes out to Holland. Breakaway to Johnson again, but this time Myers is back and plays it off to Winters. To Buckner. Both teams with the tempo picked up. Give to Johnson. A collision underneath. No whistle. And now we've got a foul coming up. Loose ball foul coming up.
You know what's amazing about that play? Artis Gilmore, that big fella, just took a charge. You don't see a lot of centers in the game take a charge and fall down. You see the Bulls hitting the boards, the Bucks trying to keep it alive, but the Bulls getting the rebound and the foul.
6-4 now. Chicago with the lead. Van Leer with the basketball. Winters on him. Up to Johnson. And he walked to the ball. Mickey Johnson trying to fake Myers up in the air. You know, you look at this Milwaukee team, John. They're last in defense, but that's really a little misleading, isn't it?
It really is, Gary. That is a stat that really, I don't know if it's worth really keeping. Perhaps it is. Some will argue that it is. But I think offenses control defenses many times. A club can be a good defensive team, but if they control the ball, that makes their defense even better.
Marcus Johnson moving inside, and he's been fouled. That foul's on Norm Van Leer. That is what is so impressive about Johnson, how he moves inside.
He moves inside very well, and it's amazing how well he shoots inside in traffic because every shot he takes it's in traffic and it's contested.
Look at him take it inside again. Marcus Johnson averaging almost 19 points a game. He has 4. It's tied up 6-all. Johnson 6'7", the college player of the year for UCLA last season. Van Leer picked up by Winters. Van Leer, the quarterback of the team. He's the counterpart to Quinn Buckner of Milwaukee. Off to Scott May. A big guy inside. Janelli's got his hands full with him. Up it goes. Johnson rejected that time by Marcus Johnson.
That's a nice anticipation by Marcus. The Bulls ran a play that they give to Gilmore, and they split off a bit.
Quinn Buckner, and Buckner has scored, and he's been fouled by Mickey Johnson.
You see the Bucks running the break here, Gary, and of course they want to run the break. Winters comes up, gives it to a trailer Myers, and he makes a nice pass into Buckner, who makes a tough shot. Now, in the last game, the Bulls outran the Bucks. You might say they beat them at their own game. Tonight, the Bucks want to try to prevent the Bulls from running, but at the other end, they want to run.
One free throw coming for Buckner. That's the second team foul on the Bulls as Johnson wipes the boards. 8:26 to go, first period. 8-6, Milwaukee with the 2-point lead. Van Leer picked up now by Buckner. Mickey Johnson from Aurora College, nearby Chicago, just improving every game. And look at Johnson go up. He had 11 rebounds in the 2 previous games against Chicago, and he's picking them up in a hurry. Stolen. Nice play by Holland. Buckner back on him, and we're at charging on Holland.
Well, that was great anticipation by Buckner. But, you know, Holland, he gets a number of steals. He plays the passing lanes very well, and he's a little upset with Hugh Evans right now. I think he felt that was a block.
First foul on Holland, third team foul now on Chicago. Okay, the intensity's there, and that's traditional in this rivalry, isn't it?
It sure is, and of course, I guess CBS television helps a little also.
And here's Holland trying to go for the steal. We're going to have a loose ball foul coming up. And I don't believe that Ed Badger's too happy about that one at all. Now, wait a minute. He's claiming there's something. It's going to be a foul on Buckner, but Badger was really upset. I don't know what about. Do you?
No, I don't. I don't understand. He must apparently thought it was going the other way.
Anyway, it's a foul on Buckner. Loose ball foul, and here's Van Leer picked up by Winters. There they go into Gilmore. You got to deny him that ball if you can, because look what he can do.
You know, once he catches the ball, if you don't double him up, and they tried to, Brian just couldn't reach the ball once Gilmore raised it over his head.
4 points for the big guy. Outside, Brian Winters. He's probably their best outside shooter.
Absolutely, and probably one of the best in the NBA.
So it's 10-8 now. Milwaukee by a pair. Here's Van Leer. Off to Johnson. He'll hit those.
All that was a pick and roll. You don't see it a lot anymore, but the Bulls ran it then. Gilmore set the screen, and Van Leer made the play.
Here's Quinn Buckner inside. He was in a slump for a while, wasn't he, John?
That's right, Gary. He was very concerned going into their last game, and he said, I've got to get moving more because what I do, if I move, the club moves. He started moving in the Denver game, and it paid off in a victory. Johnson is shooting close to 50% for the field. He's going to try another one. Rebound, Johnson. Boy, Johnson is just phenomenal. His timing. A foul. It's going to be a backcourt foul now. Reaching in. Norm Van Leer. Johnson, you know, had the nickname as the Slammer in college. You can see why when you see how he gets up. So we have a timeout here with 6:52 to go. First period. The Milwaukee Bucks leading the Chicago Bulls 12-10.
See what's new today.
Introducing the third generation Monte Carlo. The third generation of a highly successful personal luxury car. Its highly original styling opens new dimensions in affordable luxury and in comfort. with more rear seat headroom, legroom, and hip room than last year's Monte Carlo. The third generation Monte Carlo. Drive it and put a little distance between yourself and the crowd.
Up here, the wind can turn an entire ski slope into one big snowdrift. But you've got the horsepower and the know-how to take the mountain away from the storm and give it back to the skiers. And now comes Miller time. Time to head for the best-tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life, America's quality beer since 1855.
If you got the time, we've got the beer. Miller beer. Miller tastes too good to hurry through. When it's time to relax, one beer stands clear. Beer after beer. If you got the time, we've got the beer. Miller beer.
Immediately following the conclusion of today's NBA game, we'll go to Boca Raton for the Grand Slam of tennis in the finals between Bjorn Borg and Jimmy Connors. And John, I think Connors is playing as well as he's ever played.
Well, I do too. He just recently won the Grand Prix of tennis at Madison Square Garden and beat Borg, as I recall, that is, Gary. And I think it will be very interesting.
Borg against Connors. Borg, of course, a Wimbledon champion. That's following this game, the Grand Slam of tennis. This game now at the 6:52 mark of the first period. 12-10, Milwaukee with the lead, and Marcus Johnson going to the free throw line. Jake O'Donnell, the official. Marcus Johnson does it all. He's shooting very well from the line, over 70%. I don't know any of those UCLA players, though, that don't shoot well from the free throw line.
You know, Dave Myers had some problems earlier, and he's changed his free throw shooting. He now shoots a jump shot. He feels that has helped him improve.
It's a 4-point lead now for the Bucks, 14-10. Norm Van Leer and Holland still the guards. Gilmore, Johnson, and Scott May. The forward line for Ed Badger's crew, who's won 5 in a row coming into this game. Milwaukee coming off an impressive Denver win. A steal by Myers. That's the 6th turnover now against Chicago. Marcus Johnson can't get it. Just got inside too quickly. Look at the big guy.
Oh,
Can he move?
the only thing you can do on that is pray, man. There's nothing else you're going to do.
Clear out from underneath, right?
That's right. Get out of the way and hope the net stops the ball.
That's 6 points for Gilmore. It cuts the Bucks lead to 2. Here's Brian Winters outside using a pick. And Gilmore wastes no time bringing that one down. Here it comes to Holland again. Holland to Scott May. Rebound cleared by Johnson. And here comes Ginelli away with it to Buckner. Quinn Buckner. Ginelli. Gilmore on him. That's tough to shoot against a guy stand about 4 inches taller. Here comes Myers again. Won't go. Gilmore brings it out to Holland again. And they're again running the ball. As you said, they kind of take a picture or a page out of Milwaukee's book when they do it. And here's the steal attempt. Gilmore hustling. Coming away with it was Holland. Boy, it is intense right now.
It sure is. It's amazing the way Chicago is running. They're not supposed to be a running team, but they've been winning games by pushing the ball up the court.
Neither team getting the ball to drop right now. Winters trying to. It just won't go down. Here's Gilmore bringing it away again. Still 14-12, Milwaukee by 2. A little out of control maybe, John, a couple of times down the floor.
Well, I think both clubs could have stopped and set something up. As you see, Norm Van Leer finally getting control of the game right now. And he, at this point, has 4 assists. He's so valuable to their team.
And there's Buckner going for the steal. You know, Quinn Buckner comes in second in the NBA in steals.
He's an amazing player. I've had an opportunity to watch him quite a bit, and he plays the passing lanes so very well. And actually, Norm Van Leer and Holland do it a pretty good job, too. But Buckner and Boosie and, of course, Ron Lee for Phoenix do it as good as anyone.
We have a change now. Mark Landsberger is checked in at forward, replacing Mickey Johnson. This is Scott May. May is playing with a knee problem.
He sure is. He has supposedly the lining of the knee. It's pinched between the kneecap and the femur, and they're saying that he may have to have an operation, but he's been playing very well lately, Gary.
Well, that basket tied this game up. It's 14-all. Ginelli picked up now by Gilmore. Gilmore will play you tough on defense. Myers outside. He just can't get it to drop, and Scott May's got it. The Bucks' 4-point lead now has dwindled to nothing as they can't get the ball to drop. Up it comes to Holland. He changed that shot. Boy, it's tough under there. Ginelli to Buckner. Van Leer trying to draw the foul. Brian Winters, and Winters gets one.
Well, you see Norm Van Leer trying to draw the foul. Of course, he and Jerry Sloan, I think they originated this in professional basketball. They do it so well. But it's hard to believe that it shouldn't be some type of call. But actually, Norm did not give a step, and you're supposed to give a step in that situation.
4 points in the ball game now for Winters. The Bucks up by 2. Van Leer to Scott May. And he is fouled as he makes his move inside. Say grabbed his jersey when he went by.
Well, I guess he had a better angle than us. I thought perhaps they might have called that on Quinn Buckner, but it was on Myers.
Number 17.
Myers committing the foul.
First personal.
And now we have 3 team fouls against both clubs. So we have 4:01 to go in this first period of play. Holland getting it into Gilmore. Back to Holland, the left-handed shot. Ooh.
He can shoot, Gary. He shoots as good as anyone in professional basketball. He can put a lot of points on the board very quickly, and so can John Mingeld, who just came in the game for the Bulls.
So they say Holland's a streak shooter, and he's been streaking pretty well right now. There is a great effort by Winters. They can't get it to go down. You saw Johnson trying to jam it in. Boy, is Ed Johnson strong.
He sure is, and he's got great timing. And very honestly, I think he has as good a body control on a forward probably since Elgin Baylor, and that's saying a lot.
Marcus Johnson, he was the 3rd man picked in the NBA draft. Kent Benson is first. We expect to see him before the afternoon is over. Landsberger has a ball macked away and a foul coming up. So it's going to be Brian Winters committing the foul. That's his first, the 4th now against the Bucks. John Mingeld now in the lineup. Boy, you talk about a physical basketball player. This guy right now with the ball, he'll go with you.
You know, it's amazing. Mingeld on the Bulls and Buckner, of course, on the Bucks, both played football in college.
Gilmore, that's impossible to stop.
It sure is.
8 points now for Gilmore. And now the Bulls have taken the lead, 18-16, after trailing by 4 in the early going. This is Alex English, number 22, off to Janelli as we have some substitutions. English again, and he is a fine percentage shooter.
He sure is, and the Bucks will go to him like they did then down deep. They'll try to post him up. They run certain plays with the guards down, pull the guard away and let English post up, and he has a fine touch in there, and he has good body control.
Well, he's 3rd in the NBA in field goal percentage coming in here, shooting 55 from the field. Here's Holland looking for some shooting room. Mingeld comes up with it. Shooting percentage not very good, but the intensity is certainly there. Here comes May again. And Scott May can't get it to go. And it's off of Landsberger. It'll be Milwaukee's basketball.
Gary, you mentioned field goal percentage. And, you know, percentage is not always how good a player can shoot, but it's the type of shot he takes.
All right, timeout. 18-18 our score at 2:38 to go in the first period.
We must transmit the power to our homes and factories. We gotta make the highway sing for folks like you and me. Our cars should be lighter for the most from every mile. We must clean up, recycle, and make the whole world smile. We can't wait for tomorrow. Alcoa can't wait.
We are helping our community and all communities by recycling junked automobiles in our melting process instead of bringing in virgin iron. 6,000 cars a month is what we recycle here.
Jan Pribble, Foundry Line Supervisor. This is who we are and what we do at General Motors.
We make quality castings, car parts, GM parts. We can remelt scrap pieces and still get the quality that we're after. Quality to me is what we're here for. It's important that we run quality castings here. It's a must. If you're really interested in staying here, you cannot do enough for the place. That's the way I feel. The people have so much pride. General Motors has been good to them too.
General Motors, people building transportation to serve people.
Ed Badger, the coach of the Chicago Bulls. He took over last year, and what a job he did. A team that got off slow footing and then put it all together, made it into the playoffs before losing to the Portland Trail Blazers. Artis Gilmore already with 5 rebounds in this game.
Oh, it's amazing. There you saw Jerry Sloan, of course, the great guard for the Bulls. I had to go against him a few times, and whenever he was in the game, you were always aware of his defensive abilities. He seemed to take the charge better than anyone I have ever known.
Quinn Buckner now brings it up the floor, plays it off to Marcus Johnson. Johnson, very impressive in the early going. Alex English from South Carolina, second-year man. He got it and he's been fouled. Alex English has fired away twice and hit them both.
Gary, here's a story on Alex English where a young fellow came in. As you look at Don Nelson, coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, kind of quiet and subdued right now, but he can get fired up, believe me. Alex English had a difficult rookie year, but he played in the Summer California League, and that improved him so much. He feels that that was really key to how he is playing this year.
21-18 our score with 2:25 to go in this first period. Welcome to the fans that have just joined us here in Milwaukee. The team in the white uniforms of Milwaukee Bucks playing the Chicago Bulls in the red. Our score now is Milwaukee 21, Chicago 18, as we have 2 minutes and 9 seconds to go in this first quarter of play. As now the Bulls with the basketball. Gary Bender along with John McLaughlin in Milwaukee as John Mengelt plays it into Gilmore. Artis Gilmore has been tough, and here comes the rookie Marcus Johnson to the rebound. A steal by Scott May.
Scott May very smart there, hanging around the ball, and that's Artis Gilmore's first miss. He's 4 for 5 in the game.
And it goes to Alex English, who's hit 2 shots he's attempted, as Winters now brings it inside at the 149 mark.
Alex English from Winters.
Alex English has hit 3 in a row, and the Milwaukee Bucks have a 23-20 lead. As welcome back to the Milwaukee Arena as Van Leer hitting off the left-hand side. I'm sorry, make that Holland from the left-hand side. It's now 23-22, a 1-point lead for the Bucks, who've had as many as a 4-point lead in this first period. Alex English, and it comes now to Quinn Buckner. And Buckner, you know, he's not known as a good shooter, but he'll get those moments, won't he?
He sure will. And the thing about Quinn, he'll keep the offensive pressure on you. And that time, the Bucks set him up. They posted him up on Wilbur Holland. Apparently, they want to keep as much defensive pressure on Holland as possible.
John Mengelt picked up very tenaciously by Winters. Off to Scott May, and May's having trouble, but he's going to horse it up. And it's going to be Milwaukee's basketball. Boy, you go inside in this game, you better be ready.
You sure had. And John Gianelli is doing a fine job this year for the Bucks. He's blocking a number of shots, and I think when he came to the Bucks organization, they didn't really realize that he was as good a shot blocker as he has been this year.
Well, they have Kent Benson and also Jim Akins on the bench. They have 3 pivots now on this Milwaukee team. Johnson, rebound Gilmore, and he has a bundle of them here in the first period. 39 seconds remaining first period. 25-22 Milwaukee. Mengelt in trouble. To Scott May. May with great maturity last year as a rookie, only in his second year. Mengelt working it down now, 7 seconds on the shot clock. Out to Scott May. Rebound Johnson, and Johnson seems to be all over the place. Steal by Scott May. That's the second time May has swiped the ball in the backcourt.
Oh, May did a fine job. And there's a situation where Marcus Johnson got the rebound, but he really wasn't aware of who was behind him. And normally, he has to be aware of that and know that they can't turn the ball over.
Scott May with 6 points. 1-point lead for Milwaukee, but now make it 3. Nice pass that time. And that's going to end our first period here at the Milwaukee Arena, as the Milwaukee Bucks have a 3-point lead, 27-24. As this rivalry between Chicago and Milwaukee has picked up where it left off. We'll be back to bring you more from the Milwaukee Arena in a moment.
Introducing the Kellys. From Fayetteville, North Carolina, the Kelly Passenger Radio. From Cumberland, Maryland, the Kelly Truck Tire. From Tyler, Texas, the Kelly RV Tire. From Freeport, Illinois, the Kelly Von Tractor Tire. From Cumberland, Maryland, the low-cost 4-ply tire.
For whatever driving you're doing, the Kellys have a tire for you. The Kellys. What a lineup.
Tough throughout the line. We're good and tough. We're the Kelly. Rolling, rolling. See what's new today in a Chevrolet.
To the more than 600,000 people who bought the new Chevrolet during its very first year, thank you. You've made it the most popular car in America. For the rest of you, a simple reminder. With its advanced design, the new Chevrolet has more headroom, more rear seat legroom, more trunk room, and more. So drive it. The new Chevrolet. Now that's more like it.
Control is very important in the game of basketball. And control is vital in the game of life, especially when you're dealing with high blood pressure. Right now, I'm having my blood pressure checked. That's the only way to tell if it's high. If it is high, I'll follow my doctor's advice to control it.
It's normal, Tom.
Good. For more information, ask your American Heart Association. I'm Tom Borwinkle. Remember, we're fighting for your life.
An announcement from the American Heart Association in cooperation with the NBA.
Next Saturday and Sunday on CBS Sports, we're going to have the Andy Williams San Diego Open, $200,000 event, and Tom Watson's back to defend his title.
He certainly is having a fine year, and of course, just going to San Diego is nice enough.
And the leading money winner, Tom Watson. It's held at the Torrey Pines Golf Club at San Diego. Live coverage next Saturday and Sunday at 4 Eastern on CBS Sports. Well, we've gone through one period, and John McLaughlin, it's just like we expected, right?
Well, it's run and gun right now. I mean, you haven't seen a lot of Bulls-Bucks games running and gunning. Recently, the Bulls running as much as any team in the NBA, as I mentioned earlier, but I think Coach Ed Badger wants to control them a little bit more at times, but some of these young players really want to go.
And the intensity is there. Brian Winters off to Marcus Johnson, Quinn Buckner, Alex English, and John Ginelli. The starters now as we start the second period, and Buckner to try one. Look how they go up on the boards as it comes out now to Tate Armstrong, the rookie from Duke. Here is Mengelt. Armstrong has really become a factor in the Chicago Bull team. He had 22 points against Detroit the other night.
And actually, he was a factor in coming in, and I think probably helping the Bulls win the game, in that they were not playing that well when he came in. As you see, that the big guy just smothered the boards.
Boy, he completely encompassed that rim that time and able to tip it in. And it's a 1-point lead for the Bucks, 27-26. Quinn Buckner with Armstrong on him. This is Brian Winters. And Winters not getting that shot to drop, but look at that foul. Marcus Johnson.
He hangs around the offensive boards, and he does a good job of getting into the offensive board. He's very difficult to block off because he's always in motion.
8 points now for Marcus Johnson, 29-26. The Bucks. Gilmore again working inside. A little fall away. Johnson comes away with it to Quinn Buckner. Boy, Buckner can handle the ball. Look at the follow by Ginelli. Gilmore was down at the other end of the floor. He didn't even follow the play.
Well, you can see here, you can see Gianelli in following. He gets the rebound and, of course, the basket. The Bucks trying to play Gilmore to his left, not allow him to go to the hook, but force him into the jump shot.
31-26, Milwaukee. Mickey Johnson with Marcus Johnson on him. Forced the shot. Rebound by Buckner. They're only getting about one crack at it, and Milwaukee's collapsing on the defensive board.
Well, the Bucks must be aware of that because they've allowed too many offensive rebounds in the past.
Winters just can't get it to go, but Marcus Johnson does, and he's been fouled by Artis Gilmore.
Marcus Johnson has 7 rebounds in the game, and I am not really sure at this point, but I would say 3 or 4 of those are offensive rebounds, and 2 of them offensive rebounds and baskets.
That's Gilmore's first foul, sending Johnson to the line. Boy, I tell you, Marcus Johnson has been sensational. What an exciting player. He's one of the top 3 candidates, I would say, for the NBA Rookie of the Year.
Yes, I agree with that.
Johnson off to Mengelt. 10-11 to go now before halftime. Mengelt. And this is Nick Witherspoon. Witherspoon coming in. Can't get it to go for him. Off it comes. Buckner, I believe he traveled the ball. Quinn Buckner traveled to the ball.
That was a good call. They were right on top of that, Gary. You were also, by the way.
And so now Chicago's going to get the basketball, and there's going to be some changes coming in the lineup. Junior Bridgman, number 2, will be checking in. Dave Myers coming back in for the Bucks. Junior Bridgman, number 2, as you look at him, has been outstanding coming off the bench.
He's done a fine job, and he's a good shooter, Gary, and that is, of course, what the Bucks want out of him. But more importantly, he's improved his defense quite a bit, and the Bucks were concerned about that earlier, but he's done a good job of improving.
Also coming to the ball game, a new center for the Milwaukee Bucks. Pondexter has checked in. So we'll check that for the Chicago Bulls. So we have Witherspoon, Pondexter, Mickey Johnson, Tate Armstrong, and John Mengelt. And the starting 5 now for Ed Badger. This is Marcus Johnson. Both teams now substituting liberally here in the second period. Johnson inside, blocked that time by Mickey Johnson. Look at the hustle by Johnson. And we're going to have a foul, I believe, on Marcus Johnson.
Mickey Johnson did a good job of anticipating it, and that's what he has to do when he's on the weak side. And he's a player. This guy's interesting. Of course, he said when he was a young boy he wanted to play for the Chicago Bulls because he grew up in that area, and now he's playing for them, and all-star material for sure. You see him hustling after the ball. That's that Norm Van Leer hustle, diving on the ball, and of course he draws the foul.
Well, we have a timeout as Marcus Johnson has committed his second personal foul. Don Nelson checking with the officials. 34-26 Milwaukee.
1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25 26 27 28 29 30 31 32 33 34 35 36 37 38 39 40 41 42 43 44 45 46 47 48 49 50 51 52 53 54 55 56 57 58 59 60 61 62 63 64 65 66 67 68 69 70 71 72 73 74 75 76 77 78 79 80 81 82 83 84 85 86 87 88 89 90 91 92 93 94 95 96 97 98 99 100 101 102 103 104 105 106 107 108 109 110 111 112 113 114 115 116 117 118 119 120 121 122 123 124 125 126 127 128 129 130 131 132 133 134 135 136 137 138 139 140 141 142 143 144 145 146 147 148 149 150 151 152 153 154 155 156 157 1 celebration.
I never won anything before. Man, it's always the first time.
Come and have a Pepsi Day. Come on and make this day a celebration. Come on and join the Pepsi generation. Come on and have a Pepsi Day. Winning throughout the nation as Hertz the superstar. We got the winning combination. Super people, super cars, making that extra effort to meet your special needs. Getting you in, getting you out with super speed. Hertz, the superstar in rent-a-car. Hertz, the superstar in rent-a-car.
You know it.
All across our land, people know our brand. You can trust AC.
Thanks, AC.
Spark plugs by AC.
See that, men? You can trust AC spark plugs. And remember AC filters to help protect your engine from dirt and dust. Right, Ben? Ben? Kids!
Drive through dirt and dust. Good filters are a must. You can trust AC.
Thanks, AC.
Filters by AC. Plugs and filters by AC. Plugs and filters.
Mickey Johnson at the free throw line, a scramble underneath the basket. He was fouled by Marcus Johnson, who committed his second foul. Johnson just keeps improving. This is a young man that didn't play any high school basketball.
That's amazing. There are a few other players in the NBA who did not, but they're very few. And the Johnson-Johnson matchup for Milwaukee-Chicago, very interesting. Dave Myers has gone against Mickey Johnson in the past, but tonight, or this afternoon already, the two Johnsons have matched up at both ends.
Mickey Johnson now with 5 points. He was fouled in the backcourt, two-shot foul. And now it's a 34-28 game. The Bucks on top. A little pressure in the backcourt by Tate Armstrong. So Buckner and Junior Bridgman, Dave Myers, and also Ernie Grunfeld is checked into the lineup. A lot of substitutions early going. Here's Myers. And a foul coming up. 3 seconds instead. He was in the lane 3 seconds.
You know, that's a violation that I've always felt really should not be called. I think a player has no excuse to get caught in there for 3 seconds. He knows that. He must get out. And in a situation like that, Gary, really he was not trying to post up. The call was not on Myers. It was on English.
Mingelt now. Actually, the Bucks going without a big guy in the middle right now.
They go this way now and then. Of course, they feel with Pondexter in there, the Bucks can match up better than they could with Gilmore.
Armstrong into Mingelt. Mingelt just forcing his way in. And coming down with it, Alex English. Loose ball foul. That's Bridgman who actually had the basketball. As Mickey Johnson commits a personal foul, he pleads his case, and that's his second personal.
Second team on the ball.
You can see the ball going up here. And look at the attack of the offensive board, but Bridgman gets it on the second effort, actually, because the Bulls came very close to getting a second shot at the basket.
John, in the past, Bridgman's played both a guard and a forward, right? Is he only a guard now?
Yes, that's right. He only playing guard this year, and he says he feels a lot more comfortable only playing one position. The switching back and forth seemed to bother him last year.
Armstrong, a good defensive player. Ernie Grunfeld, and this is a guy whose shooting is really picking up.
It is. He's a good shooter, but he hasn't shot that well this year because of playing time. And I think a lot of players will tell you that, hey, it's hard to shoot well when you're only playing 4 and 5 minutes at stretches.
Grunfeld starting slowly this year. He was the third #1 draft pick for the Milwaukee Bucks this year. What a draft they've had. Pondexter trying to find Johnson. Here comes Junior Bridgman, the former Louisville All-American, who's come off the bench and scored a bunch of points. Grunfeld again. Dave Myers goes out. And taken away very nicely that time by Norman Lear.
That's Norman. Boy, I tell you, he's the best at the game at going after the ball, and he takes it away so many times. I would say he must average 2 or 3 a game taking the ball away.
He does that, exactly. He's 8th in the NBA in that department. And so Weatherspoon, who hasn't been seeing a lot of game playing time, picks up his first 2 points.
You know, with Pondexter in the game, the Bulls changed just a little bit. As you see penetration here by Buckner, and Ernie Grunfeld gets another 2.
Boy, that Grunfeld, he's built like a tight end.
He sure is. With his feet and hands, he should be about 6'9" instead of 6'5".
8-point lead for the Bucks, but Mickey Johnson trying to cut that. Follow tip by Weatherspoon. And discussion going on. It's going to be Milwaukee's ball. As coming in the lineup, substitution now is Steve Shepard, number 41. He's the rookie from Maryland. He was their second-round draft pick. If there's one thing that Chicago might be suspect in, John, is their depth.
That's correct, and I think their depth has given them, well, it's been there a little bit more as of late. You see Buckner throw up a hope and an air ball. It was actually a forced shot. Quinn probably shouldn't have taken that particular shot, but their bench has been giving them more help with Armstrong coming along, and they've been alternating Shepard and Weatherspoon in there and Landsberger, and they've been helping some, but they are a little weak in that area.
Van Leer now looking inside. This is Shepard who just checked in, and the grunt thrown it underneath the basket. It's going to be the Bucks ball.
Gary, something I started to say a moment ago about Pondexter. The Bucks coaches that is, felt in the last game that when Pondexter came in, that's when the tide turned. That they played zone principles and they made the Bucks turn the ball over and they went down and scored at the other end.
Here's a guy that's really playing well, English. Alex English, however, is going to be called for charging on that play. So the Bucks will set up defensively, and Norm Van Leer will bring it in. 7 minutes to go now before halftime. 38-30, an 8-point lead for Milwaukee. Here comes Shepard again. Shepard played on that Olympic team that won the gold medal. A lot of them in this game.
So did Tate Armstrong and Quinn Buckner and
Scott May.
And Ernie Grunfeld.
That's not too bad representation. Here comes Grunfeld. Boy, you don't think Tennessee didn't have a basketball team with Bernard King and Grunfeld last year?
I'll guarantee you one thing. Between the two of them, there weren't a lot of shots left for anyone else.
Milwaukee has called a timeout at the 6:40 mark of this first half. The Milwaukee Bucks with an 8-point, 38-30 lead here in the arena.
These 1,700 one-gallon gas cans reach up to the highest suspension bridge in the world, demonstrating just one advantage of the new Chevy Chevette. If the car you drive now has an average EPA combined city highway mileage estimate of 17 miles to a gallon of gas, and you switch to a Chevy Chevette with its higher mileage, you might save up to this much gas, as much as 1,700 gallons over 5 years of normal driving. 1,700 gallons, enough to reach from the bottom of Royal Gorge to the bridge above and then some.
Energy for a stronger America.
Last year, Exxon launched the world's tallest offshore oil platform. Today, off California's coast, it's opening America's really deep waters as a source of energy for the first time. From its deck over 900 feet above the ocean floor, drilling crews have begun work. And soon, 28 wells here will be producing oil and gas where none could be produced before. A new source of energy for a strong America.
Now comes Miller time. You've turned a dangerous ledge of new powder into a harmless pile of snow. Now's the time to head for the best tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life, America's quality beer since 1855.
If you've got the time, we've got the beer. Miller Beer.
Alan Arkin stars in The Defection of Seamus Kudirka, a true story of one man's fight for freedom. Monday at 9, 8 Central and Mountain.
The Chicago Bull bench, they're looking for their 6th win in a row as we come back in, the Bucks with the basketball. This is Lloyd Walton, number 11, who just checked in. The ball gets away from him. Tate Armstrong. And Tate Armstrong, you can see he's playing with confidence.
He sure is. He's going to the basket. And the Bucks on that turnover, that hurts. There are different types of turnovers. A turnover like that, when it should not happen, hurts more than one if the defensive pressure creates it.
Here's Dave Myers now as the Bucks lead has been cut to 6. Walton outside. He had 14 points the other night coming off the bench. Van Leer will bring it up now. You can see Scott May when he comes back up the floor. He's limping a little bit with that knee.
He must be having some problems. He says it bothers him a lot, but apparently he's decided to play with it, Gary. He feels he has no other choice now.
Here's Pondexter. They brought him back from Sweden when Jim Ard tore up a knee. Here's Scott May. Rebound Myers. Off it comes to Lloyd Walton. Off it comes Bridgman. And a good effort that time. 40-32, the Bucks now back on top by 8.
Alex English normally does a very fine job of going to the offensive boards, and you saw it that time. And then that nice little flick touch. As a matter of fact, his nickname is Flick.
Here's Pondexter. Pondexter at 6'9" out of Long Beach State and a foul.
Number 2.
The Bulls,
Bridgman committing the foul.
Excuse me, Gary. The Bulls get a lot of movement, especially with Pondexter in, and the ball goes into him, and you saw the movement on and off the ball. A lot of splits, and they try to screen for one another and free someone.
Ginelli now checks back in to the Bucks lineup. 5:30 to go in this second period. Up to Gilmore. 40-32 our score. Now for a report on the New York and Denver game, let's go to Brent Musburger and Keith Erickson in Denver.
Welcome to those of you who've just joined us. Denver in white with the ball. They will still control it. They trail the New York Knicks, who are in blue, by 2 points, 41-39. I'm Brent Musburger along with Keith Erickson. Danny Issel off of Bobby Jones, but Jimmy Price runs it down. David Thompson, 33 on the floor. Bobby Wilkerson, 32. Jones is off, and so here come the Knicks. Keith, the Knicks have played well.
Yes, they have played very well. They're really looking for each other. Nice drive by Butch Beard. We saw Bobby Jones miss a short jump shot down there. I think that's probably the only weakness in his game. He's just a little bit weak on his jump shooting from out about 15 feet or more. And you don't see him take it very often. Teams try to embarrass him and back off of him, make him take the shot.
Here's an update on the New Orleans game. Detroit leading Pistol Pete. New Orleans, Pistol Pete, of course, leading the league in scoring. George Gervin is second. And a man who is playing in this game is third. David Thompson, you'll see all three of those stars a week from Sunday. The NBA All-Star Game on CBS. Nice to have the basketball season in full swing on network television, isn't it? Here's Bobby Wilkerson. Pops it in now to Jones. McAdoo is right with him. What a matchup that's been. Wilkerson outside.
Bobby Wilkerson.
6 minutes and 28 seconds to go in the first half. Knicks up by 1, 42-41.
Welcome back to Milwaukee. This is Gary Bender and John McLaughlin. Our score here, Milwaukee 40, Chicago 35, as we have 4 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the second period. As right now, Milwaukee in the white uniforms with the basketball. Walton and Bridgman playing the guards. Grunfeld, Marcus Johnson checking back in now, along with John Ginelli at center. The Bucks have led by as many as 8 points in this first half.
With Ginelli in the game, the Bucks use him high post so he can shoot that jump shot just like that. Of course, they hope he does that.
You saw that one coming, didn't you?
They run a lot of screens off of him up high, and then he pops back, catches the ball, and he can either hit the men coming from under the basket off the screens or shoot it like he did there.
He has 8 points a game, and he's trying to force Gilmore out. They're pushing and shoving inside a little bit. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Wilbur Holland. Boy, he's got a nice touch with that left hand.
He really does, and of course he came to his left then. The Bucks prefer to push him right. They don't want to let him come left because he shoots so well, of course, in particular going left.
And a collision inside. And I believe Grunfeld is going to come away with a foul. That's right, Ernie Grunfeld. You said he has a size 15 shoe to go with those big legs. I tell you, Tennessee, I'm surprised they didn't get him out for football.
He would be a great linebacker, I'll tell you that. You know, the Bucks now are committing some fouls, and so far in the game, the fouls really haven't been a factor. As a matter of fact, in the first quarter, the Bulls shot none, and the Bucks only 4.
3:43 to go before halftime. 42-37 Milwaukee, and it's going to be Chicago's basketball. So Gilmore now indicating they're going to run play number 6 as they set it up. When you're that tall, you can pretty well see where everybody's going, can't you?
You can see the guy in the top rows here in the arena. Are you kidding me? You can shake hands with him.
And here's Gilmore. That's where he likes to post up. But he can't get that one, and Junior Bridgman wipes the boards. Bridgman's doing a good job in the rebounding department.
Well, and that's what they need. When a guard can come back in there and get a rebound, that helps tremendously. Jerry Sloan used to do it better than anyone, those guard rebounds.
Walton outside. He can shoot the ball.
They love him here, too. Of course, he played for Marquette. He used to light a few teams up here when he played in college, and they love him when he comes in.
He's only 6 foot tall. He's playing in a big man's game, but holding his own. Here's Van Leer. Off to Scott May. May trying to go against Grunfeld. He forced that one, and here they come. Walton to try another one, and give him one that won't go this time. Marcus Johnson. Look at Johnson scramble for it. Grunfeld's got it. Johnson again.
Oh, gee. He got up off the floor and got that second offensive rebound.
And he's got people up standing applauding that effort, John.
Oh, boy.
Marcus Johnson, is he really some basketball player?
Here's the shot. It comes out. Marcus stands back up, gets the other rebound and the basket.
46-37. Milwaukee with the lead at 2:42 before halftime.
Like your GM car?
Yeah.
Want to keep that great GM feeling?
We sure do.
Then shake hands with Mr. Goodwrench. He's dedicated to improved customer care at more than 6,000 participating GM dealers.
You want genuine GM parts. You want your car fixed right, on time. That's what I want too. Caring about your GM car helps keep me in business.
Keep that great GM feeling with genuine GM parts.
Hi-ho! Your Admiral here to inspect your shipload of values.
Ready for inspection, sir, with outstanding values. We're offering this automatic ice maker kit free with selected Admiral side-by-side refrigerators.
Roger.
No, it's Walter, sir.
Roger.
And on Admiral television sets that adapt for remote control, the remote control unit is free, a feature that could cost up to $90 on some other brands.
A shipload of values you can be proud of, lad.
Thank you, sir.
Sale ends February 4th at participating Admiral dealers.
Fred sent in his tax return yesterday. Now he has to wait for his refund check. And wait, and wait. Harry had plans for his refund money. He went to Beneficial, because Beneficial wants to lend you the full amount of the refund you expect, and more, so you can get going now. If you have plans for your refund money, would you rather wait, like Fred, or go, like Harry?
At Beneficial, you're good for more.
Here you see the Bucks artist, George Pollard, and his son Jim doing a little fast sketch work there. He's doing a lot of work for the Bucks, and it's very nice.
And of course we have this brand new floor designed by Robert Indiana, as it's the first time they've been playing on an actual work of art here. It's a beautiful, colorful, multicolored floor here in the Milwaukee Arena. Gilmore with the basketball and forcing his way in, and he's going to be called for a foul. Gilmore now has 3 personal fouls.
Well, that could be a factor in the game, of course. You can see here the Bucks trying to double team. They turn Gilmore inside, and Gianelli takes the foul.
46-37, 2:23 to go before half. Grunfeld out to Lloyd Walton. Grunfeld trying to work around his Bridgman. Boy, Bridgman and Van Leer are really pushing and shoving inside. Bridgman at 6'5" has quite a height advantage out there.
He does, but let me tell you something. Norm Van Leer can nullify that because he's so scrappy.
Marcus Johnson can't get it to go. It's off of Scott May. It'll be Milwaukee's ball. That's just good hustle that time.
Now, defensively, Chicago plays pretty much head up. They don't really push that much to the sides or to the middle, but they try to fight over the picks and play pretty much even.
There's Bridgman. Rebound by Mickey Johnson. Johnson's going to slow it down. That's one of the few times they've slowed it down in this game. Van Leer with Walton on him. Inside 2 minutes to go now in this first half. Gilmore. Gianelli on him. He wants to go left. That's kind of a funny shot, wasn't it?
It is, but it's not too funny for 2 points, I'll tell you that. You know, he's shot that hook for a number of years, and he does it pretty well, and he did it then under pressure.
12 points for the big guy. Gianelli picked up by Gilmore. Bridgman against Van Leer. Van Leer reaches in on him.
Now you can see the Bucks now trying to take advantage of that height you talked about on Bridgman. He does a good job of posting up, but even when you try to post up on Norm Van Leer, you have your hands full.
Well, that's 3 on Van Leer, the 3rd team foul now against Chicago. Walton picked up by Holland. Gianelli way outside. That's a little far for him, I would think.
Yeah, I think that's about 3 or 4 steps too far, and really it was not a good shot.
46-39, the Bucks with the lead. Van Leer with the basketball. Johnson, they're having a shoot outside right now. Here's Grunfeld coming away with it. Lloyd Walton, picked up by Holland. Into Marcus Johnson, posting up inside. Look at that move. Mickey Johnson hit the deck, but no whistle on the play. Up to Scott May, 49 seconds. You see the time now on the lower right-hand portion of your screen. 46-39. The Bucks have led by as many as 8 in this first half. Van Leer slowing it down now. 6 seconds on the shot clock. They got 3 seconds on the shot clock. 2. They didn't get it off.
They sure didn't. That's where the players must be aware of the shot clock. And that's a responsibility of the player. You should always know the time on the shot clock and on the main clock.
Boy, that's a costly turnover.
One other thing, Gary, it's interesting here. Neither team in the penalty yet. And that doesn't happen a lot in an NBA game.
So the Bucks now with Walton and Bridgman. They're going to take their time with 23 seconds. 17 on the shot clock.
lot of substitution in a game that has really been a physically demanding game. The Bulls had their game Friday night snowed out, so they didn't play. Here's Grunfeld. Boy, that guy's got nice touch for a big, strong guy. And it's now 48-39 as this first half has come to a close. 48-39, the Milwaukee Bucks with the lead. Reminder now at halftime, we're going to have our feature on horse as Cassie Russell and Mickey Johnson square off against each other.
A year ago, I reported on the Bell System's commitment to solving business problems. We now have teams of problem solvers for every industry symbolized here. Transportation, retailing, finance, healthcare, education, and many more, for which we've designed communication systems to answer business problems. We're not just designing a symbol for your industry, we're redesigning the Bell System's marketing approach to serve your needs.
If you're planning a business trip, do what more travelers are doing. Call your local Hilton reservation service. We use the unique Hiltron computer, which can tell you lots of things about where you're going. Like the fine restaurants at Hilton, major events in town, what teams are playing, the shops right in the hotel. And oh yes, room reservations too. So call Hilton Reservation Service. It's part of Hilton Rainbow Service.
Let the Hilton Rainbow brighten your day.
Excuse me, sir. I'd like you to try something.
Okay.
Hold out your hand.
Hey, what is that?
That's Track 2 shave cream, and that's another brand. Feel any difference?
The Track 2 feels heavier.
That's because the Track 2 is heavier. It's packed with moisturizers.
Moisturizers?
They help hold the moisture in your skin so your face feels good after you shave.
After I
It'll
shave?
feel soft and moisturized.
Great. Wait, what do I do now?
Shave.
Track 2, heavy with moisturizers.
See what's new today.
Last spring, 227 specially equipped Chevy Nova police cars were delivered to the Jacksonville, Florida Sheriff's Department. Now, that's a tall order, but no surprise, because law enforcement agencies in 47 states have made Chevy Nova America's best-selling police compact. Now, a lot of the things the police look for in a new car are the same things you'd look for in a new car. Reliability, performance, and value. Chevy Nova, a wanted car, now more than ever.
Hi, everyone. I'm Don Crickey, and this year at halftime on CBS coverage of NBA basketball, we have some of the top players in the league matched up in the old schoolyard game of horse, where a player must duplicate his opponent's shots or be assessed a penalty letter. 5 misses means 5 letters. That spells horse, and he's out. Today we have Mickey Johnson going against Cassie Russell, and for more on the rules, here's Mendy Rudolph.
The basic rules of horse are as follows. The player in control must describe his shot beforehand. Now, 2 consecutive shots from the same area are not allowed unless someone moves at least 5 feet away. There are trick shots allowed. However, the same trick shot cannot be attempted more than once in the contest. A flip of the coin will determine who goes first. Now, there's going to be disputes out there, and if there are, my word will be the final judge.
Cassie Russell, the #1 draft choice in the NBA 11 seasons ago out of Michigan, who has won the flip, and he'll call the lead away. He must call his shot now.
Call your shot, Kaz.
Right-hand hook shot. Right-hand hook shot, says Cassie.
Right-hand hook shot off the glass.
Now, must be matched by Mickey Johnson.
And made by Mickey Johnson.
Cassie's now a broadcaster with us on CBS after 11 seasons in the NBA, and here he goes with the left hand.
Left hand off the glass, Mickey. And there's the first letter. Mickey Johnson picks up an H.
Jump shot, top of the key.
Swish jump shot.
Can't do any better than that. Now the whistle, another letter on Mickey.
Mickey Johnson picks up an O. Cassie Russell in the lead. Okay, Kaz, call your shot.
Jumper, corner.
Corner jump shot.
Goodness.
Mickey Johnson, with the tapes.
Jumper.
Swisher from the top of the key, Mickey.
As he's keeping the heat on with that ace jump shot of his.
Third
Another
letter
whistle,
coming up.
another letter on Mickey Johnson.
H-O-R. Cassie Russell in the lead. Go, Kaz.
Bank is open. Bank shot.
A bank shot. Cassie doesn't miss. Got to use the backboard. And Mickey Johnson does
Big guy
it.
stays with him.
Bank shot.
Off the glass. Cassie misses. And makes, rather.
We're coming to you from the Omni International Complex in Atlanta.
What you gonna do, Kaz?
Straight in.
Straight in. And Mickey Johnson straight in.
Straight in.
Cassie is really keeping the heat on with that jump shot.
Cassie has an eye. Great streak shooter.
So Mickey is now one letter from elimination.
Cassie with a jumper just will not miss. Mickey Johnson under pressure now. And that's it. Cassie closes them out.
So Cassie celebrates with a little slam dunk, and Cassie Russell closes out Mickey Johnson 5 letters to none, and Cassie moves on to the second round of this horse competition. Cassie, you got him quick.
I had to get to him before he got warm. You know, young guys get warm. Mickey's a good shooter, and I was just trying to get to him early before he got started.
All right, you're a streak shooter, and you had it going today, Cassie. We'll see you in the rounds to come.
I hope so, Don.
A loser in the first round gets a check for $500. The winner, of course, advances. And next week, you'll be watching Bingo Smith of Cleveland against All-Pro Doug Collins of Philadelphia.
It's halftime at the Milwaukee Arena with the Milwaukee Bucks leading the Chicago Bulls 48-39. The NBA on CBS will return after this word from your local station.
Bob Hope, Alan King, Roy Clark. Just a few of the stars highlighted in the Kraft 75th Anniversary Special, Tuesday night on CBS.
Immediately following the conclusion of this game, we'll have the Grand Slam of tennis from Boca Raton. Bjorn Borg against Jimmy Connors. Let's now go for a report on that championship.
We're here for the Grand Slam of tennis, and I can't think of two better players to be in the finals than number 1 and 2, Borg and Connors.
That's for sure, Pat. Borg played extremely well against Brian Gottfried on Friday and beat him 6-2, 6-4. And then, of course, Connors came out to play what we thought would be a tough match against Gerolaitis.
And Jimmy Connors against Borg 2 weeks ago at Madison Square Garden was a classic. You hate to call every match you ever see between these two a classic, but that's what we expect.
We do. It's going to be close. I think Borg's going to win.
Well, let's get to Connors and see how he did away with Vitas Gerolaitis. Match point.
Connors won the first set 6-2. Good rally. You want to see a super finishing shot. Watch this right here. Just inside the sideline, and that is how Jimmy Connors has advanced to the finals of the Grand Slam against Bjorn Borg.
And so be with us then right after basketball is over and come back and watch Bjorn Borg against Connors. You pick Borg, don't you?
I sure do.
Gary Bender and John McLaughlin at the Milwaukee Arena. Our halftime score 48-39. John, the shooting statistics in the first half not all that impressive.
No, they aren't. It surprised me somewhat. The Bulls shooting 42% and the Bucks 41.5, or you could call that 42 if you would like. So very close in that regard. Both teams getting up a number of shots, although the Bucks shooting 10 more shots, getting up 53 attempts.
It's been a very intense game. We had a lot of turnovers. Early it was Chicago, but then Milwaukee started to turn the ball over.
Well, I think that's defensive intensity. Both clubs want this game, and when you really want a game, you come out and play good, tough, hard-nosed defense.
All right, now we're going to join Jimmy the Greek Snyder to catch up on some events around the sports on Greek's Grapevine.
Time now to check in with our favorite Greek. And Jimmy, coming up after basketball, the tennis final of the Grand Slam tournament, it's Jimmy Connors and Bjorn Borg again. Who do you favor?
No question in my mind, Connors.
Now, last year, Borg won this tournament over Jimmy. Slower surface. Doesn't that favor Bjorn?
Definitely it does. But Connors is at the top of his game at this moment. Nobody in the country in the world is playing better tennis than Mr. Connors at
I
this
am
moment.
not about to differ with you, Greek. A month ago, you told me George Allen was going to leave Washington, go to Los Angeles. You still holding to that today? George Allen, the next coach of the Rams, in your opinion?
Absolutely. No change of car at all.
Now, you say Jack Pardee will become the next head coach of Washington, but what about Chicago, Greek?
That is wide open. That is wide open. But definitely it will be a person with a low profile, you know, very conservative type of guy, like, for instance, like Bud Carson of Pittsburgh.
Now, what about a man by the name of Jake Gotta, who happens to be a coach up in Canada and who was at the World Football League?
You picked my number 2 man.
You got him right down there on your ready list, but I see an assistant from Denver on that ready list, Stan Jones.
That's right. He's got a good chance also. It's going to be, you know, someone low in profile and with a conservative philosophy. And nobody's going to know who it is, not even Hallis, until Finks makes up his mind.
What's Chuck Knox tell you about his new job?
He went to Siberia.
Where he's shoveling snow, right? Have a nice day.
At the conclusion of today's game and each of our NBA telecasts during the season, we will be selecting the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the Game. In conjunction with this award, Chevrolet will present a check for $1,000. In conjunction with this award, Chevrolet will present a check for $1,000 to the General Scholarship Fund of the Players College or University. Any student may be eligible to benefit from these scholarship funds. Today's winner will be announced at the end of the telecast. John McLaughlin, you and I will be voting for the MVP, and should we disagree, our producer Marvin Muse will cast the deciding vote. 48-39, our halftime score. The Milwaukee Bucks on top of the Chicago Bulls as the Bulls coming in here with that 5-game winning streak.
We're the Van Arsdales, Tom and Dick. We're identical twins, and we drink identical beers. Light beer from Miller. We love it. The best thing about light beer is it's less filling. Great taste. Less filling. It's got 1/3 less calories than the regular beer. Great taste, Tom. Less filling. And I'm not Tom. You are. I'm Dick. You think you are, but you never were.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Sir, what's the hurry?
Going to rent a car.
Oh, well, you don't have to run.
Gotta run.
Oh, no, if you had an Avis Wizard number, you could walk.
Walk.
Call toll-free and let our Wizard system do the running. Just show a major credit card, license, sign, and get the car.
I don't have to run through airports?
Not with Avis.
I can walk through airports.
We try harder, Avis. Avis, we don't know another way.
I'm walking through airports.
What are more people using to help their cars last?
Quaker State Motor Oil.
Shoot, Quaker State. Hey, Quaker State.
Quaker State. What are more people using to help them avoid expensive engine repairs?
Quaker State.
Quaker State. What else?
Quaker State.
Quaker State.
Quaker State helps cars last. Maybe that's why Quaker State's the best-selling motor oil in America.
The
The one-on-one drive to the basket is one of the most exciting plays in pro basketball. I'm John Havlicek, and through United Way-supported Big Sister programs, these young women are experiencing the excitement that comes from a